Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, hi, my name is Natasha and it's fantastic to have you here. For today's video, we are looking at the Entering Hecate's Cauldron, Spells, Spirits, Rites, and Rituals book by Cyndi Brannen, author of Entering Hecate's Garden. This is published by Weiser books. Thank you so much for sending this my way, Weiser, and it retails for $24.95 in the US. Of course, everywhere down in the description box below, I will link where you can legitimately purchase this should you want to. So it looks banged up. It's dinged up because it came with me to read when I was traveling back and forth last month in July. So that was my doing, not anything to blame on the publishing or the manufacturing. It's just simply me and my carelessness with the baggage. So let's get into it. A comprehensive overview of modern Hecatean witchcraft. Entering Hecate's Cauldron is about doing witchcraft, specifically witchery, centered on the beloved goddess Hekate, with her etheric cauldron as the source. This book is for anyone interested in deepening their spiritual journey as a witch. Entering Hecate's Cauldron completes Cyndi Brannen's trilogy, including Entering Hecate's Garden and Entering Hecate's Cave, which may be read in any order. Written in the style of a traditional book of shadows, the contents cover many of the common practices of modern witchcraft, ranging from personal development to spells, rites, and rituals. Beginning with foundational practices such as setting up an altar and connecting to a spirit guide, the book then offers instructions for understanding and honoring Hekate. Featuring a deep dive into correspondences, it includes a guide to spellcrafting as well as a section on the mysteries, including rituals, spirits, and the wheel of the year. So I have not thoroughly read every single page. I have not had all of that time to do so, but I have flipped through. I've read the first part of this. It's very, very thorough. So with that being said, it's not like a full review. I wouldn't call it a full review. It's more of an introduction for you guys. So this is broken down into a lot of different parts here, and the parts are broken down even further, so it's fantastic. Very easy to work through. If you are a beginner, it might be a little intimidating at first, but I feel like with this book, it has enough information and it guides you through a lot of the processes that it's going to be really easy if this is what you are being called to. So we do have the separate parts. So we have the foundation. So it's very important that whatever you're going to start to do, you have a foundation and you know the facts before moving forward, right? This one was really interesting. There's a meditation on finding your own cauldron. So I found that very enlightening and very cool. It's kind of where you materialize your own internal cauldron. And then it goes into the knowledge. So we have a lot of things involving history and the background of Hekate, and also goddesses and companions of Hekate, and I'll show you that. Then we also have working with it, so the craft. So this is where the spell crafting, the rituals, and all of that are going to be. And then the mystery is more of the rituals, and then experiences. It breaks it down even more. So you have page numbers on page numbers. You can flip through to exactly what you need to see. I love that. So there's the personal cauldron here. So these are the different parts. I'll just read what's involved in each of the parts, so that way you have a complete understanding of what's going on. So the foundation, part 1, reviews ways to get started with your craft, beginning with the connection to the cauldron as a center point of witchcraft. Since the altar is so important, I share some tips for creating one in this section. This section concludes with a discussion about the realms and includes a ritual bath and tarot card reading technique. Fantastic. The knowledge part 2 focuses on knowledge about Hekate, from her origins to her symbols. Here you'll learn ways to honor her as well as how to connect to her diverse aspects. The final chapter in part 2 explores Hekate's companions, from her close associates with ancient goddesses to her connections with other dark goddesses and male deities. And then the craft, it's all about spellcraft, starting with some of the keys for practicing witchcraft that I've developed over the years. I offer tips for creating your own apothecary, including tools and supplies. You'll also find an extensive discussion of correspondences, which are typically physical objects that have deeper properties like plants, colors, and stones. This is followed by an explanation of how to incorporate numbers, which are thought forms with physical representation into your witchery. There's a selection of spells that you can use as is or provide inspiration for creating your own. The mystery in part 4, spirits emerge from the cauldron, discover beings from animals to ancestors through rituals and other mystical experiences. And then you have the practica, which is actually doing it. Then you have meditations and transcendence, which is that exactly what that means. And then the cauldron of good enough. Allow your magic to be messy. What is real is often not flawless. Whether it's a sigil with less than perfect symmetry, an incantation written on a scrap of paper, or a talisman that may not be ready to make its debut on social media, these little flaws actually render your magic more powerful. Go gently with purpose, following what feels true in your soul. I am good, I am enough, I abide in the cauldron of good enough. Love, love, love that. So reading through all of this, it's just really well thought out, well done. Then it goes into the first part here about actually choosing a physical cauldron, honoring Hekate on the dark moon. Here's all of the history, and then it goes into, I believe, her companions here. So Hekate and all of her different versions, characteristics, epithets. Here's the companions. So for instance, when we're working with her different companions, it will give you a little blurb about them, a theme, a history, and then how to work with that goddess or companion. Fantastic. There's a lot of different ones in here. Then in the craft, it does a really good job of explaining everything, all the different correspondences. This was really important for me to see. I really enjoyed what she wrote here for developing personal ethics and practice. So this is essentially, we need our own ethics and code when we're practicing. Some people vary in what they have as far as their expectations, but this was great because she's basically saying the term white witchcraft is typically used to describe magic that restricts anything that can be considered baneful. For me, witchcraft has no color. If it did, it would be all hues combined into gray. So essentially, she's saying that like there's no white or black magic. It's all just how we interpret it, because you can have a beneficial response to it, or it can be an unwelcome circumstance. You can have the banefulness if it's meant for protection, right? Like, I would never say don't hex someone, because you do you. That is your practice. So, anywho, knowing our emotions, following our values, and regulating boundaries from the basis of a personal code of conduct, both in our individual practice and how we focus on others. There has been, and I'm certain will continue to be much debate around ethics in witchcraft. The old saying, "A witch that cannot hex cannot heal," implies that how we practice is our choice. Hexing, which is a type of cursing, is sometimes considered baneful magic, since the intention is to inflict consequences that cause harm. But what if the person known as the target was causing great suffering to others? So, again, your own code of ethics. I think that's really great that that was in here, because this is technically a book of shadows. We have the supply and tools for the apothecary here, magical mixtures and oils. There's stuff about sigils, creating your own spells, which I think is fantastic. It gives you a jumping off point, connecting to the essence of the deeper world. We've got moon phases, elements, working with all of the sigils. There's just so much in here that it is really like a good Book of Shadows to start off with. So I was really impressed. I think if you are somebody who follows the Hecatean path or has Hekate for your deity, this is something that I would have in my arsenal, what I would work with. I think it's really informative. There's so much here. And if you are practicing any kind of form of witchcraft, you'll see a lot of similarities with how it is being crafted and done. And there might be some things in here that you didn't know before, and I'm still reading through this, but this is more of an introduction for you guys to see if you're interested in this. And in the back here too, there's like a bunch of meanings for the list of epithets. Like I said, very well thought out. I'm really impressed. I do not personally have a Book of Shadows for Hekate. So as somebody who really looks up to Hekate as a deity, I'm really excited to have this in my arsenal and start to practice some of the rituals and spells in here. This is, like I said, great if you're a beginner. It might be a little intimidating, but you have so much in here. This is like a one and done book. And then again, it can be a jumping off point so you can then personalize the spells, the rituals, etc. in here to fit you better. Okay. And if you are a long-term practitioner with Hekate, this just might be something else to have in your arsenal to see if it aligns with what you practice and to help inspire or learn more. So with that being said, thank you so much to Weiser for sending this my way. I really have enjoyed what I have read so far. I'm going to continue on with it. Please let me know if you have any questions in here. If you want to see something a little bit more thoroughly, I'll do another short video on that as well. But yeah, let me know what you think. Is this already on your radar? Do you own her other books? Entering Hekate's Garden and Entering Hekate's Cave. I would love to know. I have those on my audiobook, but I have to double check which ones I have. I still have to read them. So fantastic. I'm excited. Please let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I love you and I like you. And if you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification on your way out of this video. That way you will never miss an upload from me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.